What is going on, everyone? Star Wars CCG community. I'm here with Cam and Mark. Very excited about this. Today, we're going to pick up where we left off on discussing population reports in terms of Special Edition and Endor. We also want to take a quick moment to highlight Cam got a nice return back from HGA. They are hot off the press with doing patch cards, those thicker cards, and custom grading those. So they've had a special going on. Last month it was so popular, they did it again this month. I personally sent in some cards as well, but Cam's got a fresh return, so we get to see some of his PC stuff coming back. So very excited about that. And then we just want to touch upon the May contest, where we stand with that and what things we've seen so far. So let's kick it off. I'm going to hand it off to Cam so he can tell us a little bit about what he's doing with this HGA stuff before we get rolling.
Absolutely, guys. Yeah, HGA just announced they're doing not only horizontal slabs, which you know about, they're now doing them for thicker cards, which is more known in the sports industry, often known as an RPA or rookie patch auto. I happen to be a hardcore Masterwork collector. Star Wars Masterwork is kind of like the national treasure or flawless or this, if you want to use the sports card analogy, where you're getting these high quality, thicker cardboard cards. I, in the submission, submitted about, I don't know, we'll see 20 or so. I'll fly through them real quick. Film Cell Relic, which is a specific insert in the Topps Masterworks set where it has actual film from the Star Wars movies in them. So I'll kind of go through these real quick, show you what they look like. We're big fans of what HGA is doing from an artistic standpoint, and we'll touch on the grading. Before we do that, just quick shout out to the PC. As always, everyone is seeing the blue packs on Facebook. Those who donate to the Star Wars CCG PC, like I do every year, are getting their returns. You know, got some Anakin foils. We got the sideways PC slip effects for light side and dark. Really cool foil slips. And I'm going to bust open one of my two like I always do, just real quick before we get into it.
Oh, that's super cool.
The other two, this is your last chance to really feel like you're still getting new content. And then I'm going to keep the other one sealed like I always do. So first off, we've got a mini, looks like 5s maybe. Nope, that's Captain Phasma. Sorry, hard to see. Can't read the tiny cards. Azure Angel, Mara Jade.
Nice.
Be With Me, Array Objective. The foil refractor is Kit Fisto. Look at that sparkle on it.
Oh, wow. That's really shiny.
Oh, and then another foil, Captain Phasma, looking real good. They're really doing a good job there. So just a shout out for the PC for keeping the game we love alive. Also in this HGA submission, I did submit 2 Star Wars CCG returns. I know Mark's going to be a big fan of this one.
That's awesome.
Knowing how tough HGA can grade, this is a 9.5.
Oh my gosh. That's
so impressive. Wait, what are the subgrades on that?
Subgrades are corners 9, edges 9.5, surface 9, and centering 10.
Ooh, that might be the highest graded HGA card, like with the subs counted, because I only have one 9.5, and I think it's 9.5959.
Fitting for the title Jabba's Prize. I feel like we have a real prize here. How cool does that look with the card?
That is sick.
And they even oriented it the right way, too. That's great.
Of course they did. And you guys have seen this one before, but it's a fresh one where we've got my glare is really bad today. Sorry, I'm working on it. The Through the Force things you will see upside down print with the upside down slab. So,
I love that kind of stuff. Like Eyes in the Dark, Upside Down, Hindsight, like the reverse. Like HGA thrives on that kind of stuff. That's just awesome.
So let's go through. I'm going to fly through these so we can get to talking about the set registry, which I think is a great concept. Kyle, talking set by set. We can all learn something about like what set nuances there are and how that impacts grading. Quick, going to just tout one of my favorite non-Star Wars CCG cards I collect. This Masterworks set is just super high quality. They're that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
These are actual film. They're called Film Cell Relics. They're in the 2017 and 2019 set. They also do cool things like miniature versions of Luke's lightsaber, autograph cards, medallions of stormtroopers, like dog tags, just like really cool stuff. And they're all thick. So just something else if you're looking at Star Wars. And these are all going to be filmed from the movie, so I'll just show the grade real quick. This is at a 9.5, which is really good. And you can see Luke talking to Ben and 3PO. The cool thing I've noticed with these is people collect within them. So you'll see multiple, like, for example, Mon Mothma's in the Yavin 4 throne room. But within that, people chase the actual film cell and looking for – one of the coolest ones I've seen is in the final Endor scene with the ghosts revealed, and it's the old version of Anakin. So because it's the film from the original movie's pre-special edition, so it's the first actor who played Vader, not the renovated one. So people chase the film cell that has original Ghost Vader from Endor.
Wow. So there's not even that many. Like, it's not even like a long scene, you know? Like, there'd only be so many.
This is a really cool image. It only got a 7.5 to the grading scale. I'm going to keep seeing if I can make these appear better anyway on air, but you can see Luke and Yoda. Now, in person, you're going to see these really clear. You just hold them up to the light.
Yeah, the video never does it justice. I tell people you got to get this in your hands and just see it to really appreciate it, because it doesn't do it justice of just how cool they are in person. That Dagobah one looks a lot like one of the Yoda's hut horizontal slabs I made, like just that design.
So I'll just keep going through them and let you guys talk if you want me to stop. But this is called Toward Tomorrow. So sometimes they're a character and sometimes it's a specific theme. So this is the end of Empire Strikes Back. There you go. You can see Lando and Chewie and the Falcon.
Wow.
Speaking of Lando, here's an 8.0. Just Lando looking all cool with his mustache in the desert.
Yeah, those good songs. So one of the things that was shared with me that is upcoming in HGA that I didn't even think about, but is actually really valuable, is they're doing something that's kind of in between custom and, like, let's call it semi-custom, right? So one of the ways is at this point, like, HGA's graded like a lot of different cards, right? Did custom labels for a lot of different stuff. So what I'm looking at now, what I'm submitting is I want this card with the same type of custom label as such and such slab, and I'll put the number down. So that way I know I'm going to get something that I like, because I've submitted the same card to get custom graded before, like multiple times. And each time you do that, it comes back different. So sometimes they're better than others or just more desirable, right? So what they've been doing is they're putting together a library of slab labels that have been done customized. So instead of having to get a new artist and get it designed from scratch and go through all that, what they're going to add is a feature where you can scroll through labels that have already been created for that card or other cards similar. So you can select that, and it's less expensive than doing it custom because it's already in the system, right? So, like,
that's really smart. As someone who's been through the process before, it can be a strong where to start art-wise. That's really exciting to hear, and it's definitely going to enhance.
Super brilliant, especially since, like,
this one's awesome. Sorry to interrupt.
I love the theme on that.
This is a Luke versus Darth Vader, and when you get these, you're hoping to have, and you can see the sabers in there. So this is the Cloud City, and you've got Luke, saber, and Vader. So that's always a huge hit when you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Here's a cool concept. It's the death of Yoda, which, sad, but look at that. It's such a cool image. I don't know if it's coming across on camera.
Yep, saw that one.
This one got a 9.5 with a 8.5 corners, 9.5 edges, 9 surface, and 10 centering. Mark, do you have any masterwork? We know Kyle's got all the sets.
I have a couple of the ones that you've sent me. I've yet to grade them with HGA though, but looking at these labels, they're quite nice. They did a great job finishing those off.
And
those are fantastic.
Oh, this one's so freaking cool. Check this out. As the light hits it, the Emperor comes into view. And you just
yeah.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was great.
Is this all the film cell cards you have? that you submitted?
No, you don't want to know how many I have. This is my thing. I'm like, you know how people hoard stormtroopers in Star Wars CCG? I can like not have too many of these. I've kind of been just buying any auction I can for $20 and under for the last like 3 or 4 years now. They're definitely going up a little bit, but they're still super affordable overall. That was the last one.
Well, if you get enough of them, you can recreate the whole film.
That's the goal, right? All right, so I think that's it for now. I do have my Endor PSAs on file for when we get into the set registry, but shout out again to the Star Wars CCG PC. If you donate each year, you also get the cool blue packs.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of people reveal those videos coming up soon, which will be cool. I have, yeah, what did I get recently? Let me see this. The Finalizer cap. I don't know if you can. Oh, I've got the green screen, so I guess you can't really see it. That was kind of dumb. But anyways, I thought that card was pretty cool. Anything with Star Destroyers is always a win. So before we jump into that too, I just want to highlight we're still in the middle. It is May 11th as of this recording. So we are in the middle of the Star Wars CCG graded competition in the Facebook group. The theme for May is aliens. So there's top pop category, low pop category, and unique category. So if you have not already done so, please submit a picture of those. There's information on the website about all that. So definitely get those in. You have, what, another 20 days or so before the contest ends. And just as a heads up for what's coming up in June, we have red cards only. So any graded red card that could be effect or interrupt. And then July is Rebel spaceships. So these are some things to think about when you're submitting. August, there'll be weapons. So if you have things you're in mind, or if you don't have it, go ahead and acquire those before that month kicks in so you can participate. Okay. And then let's see, jumping into Special Edition. We left off kind of 1998, but we didn't quite cover Special Edition. So I want to talk about the PSA population report in Special Edition. These are some of the key cards in here, these mains that they've highlighted on here in the encyclopedia. Thanks to Darth Grader for sharing me with that. Okay, so I've pulled up the population report. Everybody has access to this. There's no password for any of that. But it is interesting to look at because this is getting updated all the time. And with the volume of submissions that have been going out, we could literally be doing this every quarter and it would be changing all the time. But I like to look at here the cards that are graded the most, you know, what things maybe are surprising in here, and then, you know, the populations within them. So just a quick overview of this. It looks like there's 5 10s with 126 submissions totally in Special Edition, which relatively is not that many. No. When we look at like the other groups, like Cloud City had a lot more. Premier obviously had a ton. I don't think we've seen that much in the
It's kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, it's not many. And these single ones, I'm guessing, are, you know, somebody trying to do a complete set here, because some of them only have 1 submission. Even Boba Fett, we have 8 submissions here. I mean, granted, that's the Special Edition one. Ben Kenobi has 11 submissions. There is 1 PSA 10 here. So whoever has the Ben Kenobi Special Edition 10 is sitting mighty high right now. But yeah, I mean, even Princess Organa, I mean, only 8 submitted there, 110. Soth Pelican, Rendezvous Point. So that's obviously a really cool card. More on the foil side, I think people are looking for those. But 2 9s, no 10s with that. I bet you a Rendezvous Point 10 would be a.
I think I saw Pelicans on eBay right now.
Is it really the 8?
I think I saw it on eBay.
Not the HGA one, the PSA one.
I believe the 10. Yeah, I think I'm following it. I was like kind of interested in buying it. Maybe it's sold already. I'm pretty sure I saw it.
Vader's personal shuttle. I mean, 3. Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. Okay, here's one of the mains here. We got 14 of these submitted. None of them are 10s. There's 4 9s. So this will be an interesting card to watch. Is this a tough card to get a 10 on? Or have we just not seen many people submit in there? The jury's still kind of out on that. Let's see what else pops out here. Then just, I mean, that's it. That's all the cards that are in here.
There's 6 TKs. TK422, the undercover Han.
Yeah, TK422, no 10s. There's 1 9 and 5 8. So that's also another card to keep an eye on. Death Star. It doesn't say if it's the light side or.
It's got to be the light side. It's the one you can blow up and get objective points for.
So only 4 of those submitted with 1 10 and 3 8s. So. Sorry, my son is behind me.
It's adorable.
Yeah, so Mark, I don't know about you. I'm pretty surprised by these numbers overall. What are your thoughts? I know you've got a lot of DVD lots experience. Boba Fett numbers are stunning to me. I mean, it has been years since I opened special edition myself. Maybe it's another set. And are we sure these numbers are accurate also, I should ask?
They're fairly up to date as far as I know. Like they might have a lag of a few weeks. I don't know how it depends on like Star Wars CCG. If it tends to lag behind, like let's say sports, maybe is more quicker to update. I don't know. The hard part about special edition is because it's such a large set, you can't really go in and say like, oh, I'll just open a box of special edition and I'll get something, you know, that I'm looking for. Like it's very unlikely. So it may be difficult for people, like if they say, oh, I want to get like a PSA 10 Boba Fett, like can they really just rip special edition until they get one? I don't know. It may be difficult. There's
a lot of like unique cards in there, like very specific people, you know, and characters. Like I like the cards in there, but is there anything that like especially stands out besides like Ben Kenobi, you know, Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, right? Maybe TK422 and Princess Organa. Like
the only one that strikes me as kind of like probably DVD lots, Darth Vader, Darth Lord of the Sith, because he's got that whole iconic background, that really nice background of the card. But other than that, most of the mains in here tend to be, you know, less popular than the variants found in other sets, I'd say in general. Like the Boba Fett's all zoomed out. I think it's like the picture of him in like Jabba's palace, if I recall.
I thought it was the I thought it was the one where he's like in Docking Bay 90. No,
maybe that's where it's not. It's not the one like the nice one in Cloud City where you have that nice close up with the where they're boarding.
Yeah, because there's the Boba Fett white border was part of a preview card for First Anthology, right?
Right. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same art, whatever that one is.
It's the same one. So yeah, that was in Docking Bay.
Docking Bay 94. Okay, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, it's Docking Bay 94. You're right.
But yeah, that's kind of interesting. There's not much submitted in there. That's something to keep an eye at. I feel like it's just one of those like quiet, you know, sleeper ones. Like maybe we'll see more when people are done submitting everything from Cloud City or Reflections 1. They're like, oh, what do we move on to? Like maybe Dagobah, maybe not. Like maybe special edition.
And the thing about it is it's very hodgepodge. Like lots of the other sets have like a theme to them, and special edition, I guess the theme was they were revamping you know, a lot of the special edition special effects and all that. But you know, 20 years later it's hard to remember, okay, since there's been so many iterations of Star Wars editing, like what exactly did they add in that one? I don't really remember.
This is the infamous Crate Dragon set, right?
Yes,
there is a Crate Dragon.
That got used in the Mandalorian episode, and some of the Decipher employees were like super stoked about.
Yeah, that's right.
I've got the sealed and graded tracker up, and you know, I think it's interesting to see. I did a quick eBay search. There's not nearly as many boxes for sale as I remember. I only see 2 listed now. I wonder if they're getting scarce, but it does seem like the price has held steady on sealed. I don't think it's like a scarcity thing. The price even dipped as low as $360 in July 2022. It looks like it's been holding steady around $500 to maybe $750 as fair prices for sealed, with some peaks. And there was one that went for $1,100 and $1,000 in 2021 at the peak.
Wow!
Right.
Somebody really wanted it at that price because that's a big jump.
Yeah, I can share the screen if you want. But yeah, I guess we're not doing data on this show. But yeah, I was just interested to see there's only 2 boxes listed. This conversation has me interested in maybe opening some more. The fact that there's the lack of DVD lots in Boba Fett, and I know it's not the iconic Cloud City image, but it's still a main Boba. And that and a PSA 10 has to be, in my opinion, I'd say like a $500 card at least, and obviously DVD lots would be more.
Right.
Well, I think we can all agree that like a lot of people like special edition. It's not a bad set, you know, like it's got cool stuff in it. You just don't see as much ripping of that product, maybe because it's like another notch more expensive to rip versus Cloud City and Jabba's Palace and Premiere. And, you know, it just gets kind of like lost.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you use the like Matt Manning theory that people are just ripping the cheap stuff, this is firmly in the middle. There's like all those cheap sets you just listed that are like really fun. I did it myself, like Cloud City. I've tried the most of other than Premiere. And then you're like, your eyes kind of go to, ooh, like maybe I should hoard some depth like that. And sometimes I think those sets in the middle might get lost.
Yeah. So this will be interesting to watch.
The other thing that's interesting about Cloud City is it's kind of got that same thing going on with Premiere, where it's also got starter decks that have random rares in them. So then the question comes like, are there better conditions in the packs or the starter deck boxes? And we don't really know. At least I don't really know the answer to that. But just another food for thought.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was thinking about this the other day because I was like, I feel like every day, like I can put in YouTube Star Wars CCG and there's somebody ripping something, right? And I don't know if this has just been like kind of a more trend or it's been the same. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, or if it just feels like, oh, this person's ripping stuff, this person's ripping stuff, I want to record ripping stuff. Maybe people have been ripping stuff without recording it and now all of a sudden they're recording it. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe there's just so much spur and excitement with the fact that, hey, this isn't that difficult to put it up. 1, 2, everyone's grading stuff, so I want to grade stuff too, so I'm going to do that as well and jump in the bandwagon. I'm not entirely sure, but at the rate we're going of ripping stuff, like this can only go for so long, right? Like not everyone's going to be able to keep up with that momentum. Like maybe they'll have quick bursts of it, but I'm curious to get your guys' take on that. Maybe, I guess it just feels like a lot more of these ripping videos have taken apart, but am I crazy in that, or?
Well, you got Eric Garchow's been doing it consistently, a pack at a time. Jerome Bradshaw has been doing it back to like 2000 and whatever. He was like an OG of it. I sent Mark the other day. I need to pull it up, but like there's videos I've just found from a while back of Ref 2 boxes being open. There's definitely some people who have been doing it for a while out there. But I do think, like you said, it's easier to post nowadays with be it Instagram or YouTube. You just whip out your phone compared to 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, part of me is like, well, maybe I just wait for everybody to rip everything they have, and then I'll do it once they've all run out. They'll be like, yeah, I'm the only game in town. No, I can't help it. I want to keep ripping stuff. So, but luckily I got plenty to rip now. I did pick up like maybe 20 boosters of Reflections 2 with the intent to open on the channel. So
nice.
Yeah, I feel less guilty about that than I do of opening a fresh box of it. I don't know. That's another conversation now. All right, let's jump into Endor. So Endor, we got our mains here. We got, Chewie, daughter of Skywalker, right? Leia. We have General Solo, which comes in the 1999 version, not the 2000 version. And we got 3PO and Wicket. But there's also what's not in here is the foils, right? So I think a lot of people are thinking Endor, they got those unique foils. So let's talk a big game. Looks like, what is this? Are you showing something off?
You mentioned Endor.
Some quiet bragging.
A couple of things just popped up on screen. So.
Doing some humble bragging over there. All right. So 210 cards have been submitted. Out of that, 12 10s, 69 9s, 76 8s, and then everything else goes down from there. Let's see. Okay, foils here. Tempest foil, right? 9 submitted, 6 8s. Somebody got a 3. That's wild.
That's insane.
Maybe they're going for the lowball category. when
That's
the
awesome.
material vehicles comes up.
I think the lowest I've seen is a 4 that I bought from Darth Vader, Han Solo premiere.
I remember that
pretty
one.
low. I mean,
It was $5.
Yeah.
Wait, so is this including foils? Yeah, it is. Okay.
It is going to include the foils. Yeah, it looks like so far. I mean, Tempest Scout 4 foil, no 10s or 9s.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting with these foils, right? Same thing with Endor landing platform, no 9s.
Those dark side foils are going to be a problem.
Yeah, I think maybe Mark and Rafi and I have had a lot of conversations on Endor foils during COVID and quarantine, but Mark's an expert on this. Maybe give a quick overview on why they're rarer, why they're different, why dark side's tougher.
Yeah, so I don't know, like for our viewers out there, you guys may know, but even packed fresh, like I remember when I was a kid, actually, I pulled actually a Tempest 1 from a pack, a Tempest 1 foil, and I was super excited. But all these dark side Endor foils have edge wear on the left-hand side, and I think, gosh, was it Scott or Colson, one of them was describing that maybe it had to do with how the edge that they cut, the blade they cut them with was getting dull by that time, because this was kind of like a new technology at the time. They're just starting with like foils and CCG cards at this time. So Endor was kind of like one of the very early ones. They're just figuring out what they were doing. But essentially, yeah, all those dark side Endor foils have like extreme, you could call it like flaking or edge wear on the left side. So it'll be very interesting to see if we ever see a 9 or even like let alone a 10 in any of these.
Well, you have to imagine, I mean, however many sheets they did, they must have realized at some point, you know, like they may have gone through like a lot of them, but there's still so many that were.
You might think, but I've literally never seen a dark side Endor foil without.
And also, it's a different foil type than the reflection. Yeah. It's 1, 2, and 3 foil types. You can see kind of just by holding it up to the light how it shines through the text and the white parts, and it's much more rainbowy, and the whole card shines, whereas the reflections ones are more in the background, so there's a little less. I think the foil's on top here and the foil's on the bottom more on the others. I don't know how it works exactly, but you can definitely tell the difference, and that plays into it as well.
Well, this was their first attempt, right, at doing this or adding this technology in here before changing it. So, yeah, there could be something to be said with that. But that would mean if there is even a 9 of some of these foils, that could be, you know, maybe top pop for some of these. Something to keep in mind. Whereas a typical 9 for anything else might be like, okay, cool, like not bad, but
yeah, and that's a phenomenal point. And you'll see auctions on these. In my opinion, it's one of the raw. In Star Wars CCG, we don't know why, but like in sports cards, a PSA 8 has a premium to a raw. You don't see much of a premium on a ton of Star Wars CCG cards currently at a PSA 8. So what Kyle's talking about here, if you were to see like a dark side PSA 8, he said the 9's the top pop. Well, you shouldn't be like just like I'm going to pay whatever ratio I have in my mind for a PSA 8 for an Endor foil, because it really like a PSA 8 it's like more like a PSA 9 in that situation, and the PSA 9 is closer to a PSA 10. And this is one of those weird sets, and you can get value on that. I've seen auctions, as you know, Matt in the group, Star Trek CCG. Why can't I speak? Star Trek CCG guy on eBay has done a lot of Endor foil auctions, and you can see those 8s and even those 7s pop up. I love bidding on those because even the raw prices are so high, and you can get a good value on them, kind of because of what we were just talking about.
Well, not only that, but like you don't see many people ripping Endor packs. You know, like they're expensive packs, and you generally don't get anything that anybody's really looking for. The only thing you want is a foil, which comes in what, 1 out of like 6 packs or something.
9.
Like,
I think it's 9.
Yeah, so like the odds are terrible for you to get one, and the chances are you're probably not going to get one you want. You know, like so. Yeah, it will be very interesting to see those come through. I definitely think they command a premium. Should you come across a 9, that might be something you hold on to. Now everyone's going to be submitting their Endor foils, right? But again, with these foils being so easily damaged and scratched, like on the surface, you really need to get, you know, something with a light on it, because without the light, you can't really see the surface wear on it. But as soon as you flash the light on it with the magnifying glass, it comes up like clear as day. You can see all the scratches and stuff, which you can't see with the naked eye. So And I feel like it's almost every day we see a post like that in the graded group. If I'm not crazy, you know, someone's like, "Oh, I got this 6 or 7. How did that happen?" It's like, well, did you use a magnifying glass and a light? Like, some people don't want to do the time, and I get that because sometimes you're like, I have so many cards, I'm just gonna throw them at the wall and see what happens. But you know, I've been kind of being more patient in getting the microfiber cloth and like going through it. It does take
off, especially on foils, and my gently and in the right way, but especially on Ref 1 with those cloud dust marks and whatnot.
And it's painful because I have a stack of like reflections foils that I'm like, I've gone through. I'm like, I can't submit these. I'm like, they're not going to grade above a 7, you know, maybe an 8, but like, it's just, you know, why would I submit and waste all the time of doing that? You know, like somebody would be happy to have it in their collection, you know, maybe in a binder or something, but you know, looking up close, they just don't make the cut. You know, there's just lines all over it. I'm like, ugh. So I'll submit them for other people, but when it comes to my own, I'm like, this will be good for somebody's set for general collecting, but not for a slab, which is a pain in the ass, by the way, too, to go through those. Let's see what else is also in here. More foils. We have Endor Celebration. That has 2 9s, interestingly.
That's a light side, though. Light side don't have the edge wear.
Main course has an 8. Yeah, what else is in here? Ewok Glider has 3 9s, but yeah, like you said, that's Rebel, right? Chewbacca of Kashyyyk. So non-foil, 110, 19, 5/8. Somebody's sitting happy on that Chewbacca 10. Chewbacca foil.
What do you got there?
No 10s, but there are 9 9s. So that's a drastic change from those dark side foils, like you were saying. Early Warning Network, 1/8, 1/6. I mean, yikes. Top Blue, 2 9s, 2 8s. Hot Pursuit foil, only 1, and it graded a 6. Ewok and Roll, 2 9s. Ominous Rumors, 110. The only one submitted. Daughter of Skywalker. Okay, so we got the non-foil.
There we go. Cam's
12 of them. No
OG label
there.
For the new kids. This is what the old school ones look like.
Oh, the old school ones. So no 10s of Daughter of Skywalker, but there are 7 9s and 5 8s. So
this is a 10 right here. Sorry, we're on the foil. Sorry.
That's the foil, yeah. So the foil, 35 submitted and 5 10s. So that is 1 of 5 that Cam is showing off right now. Go ahead and
you can see how if you're new to it, you can see how the light hits. You see how it's just sparkling in all directions at once. It's kind of like a top layer rainbow refractor.
See, it looks great on camera, but they look even better in person. It's really quite impressive.
There's some people's favorite foils. Like they definitely have a preference for them. I'm up there. I love them.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's a cool foil to have for sure. I would keep that if I were you. General Solo, 5 graded, no 10s, 1 9, 2 8s. But the General Solo foil has 29 submitted with 2 10s.
Yeah, one of those that's in my vault. All my top cards are in the security vault. They're not on me.
It's all good. Humble bragger over here. It's like they're all stacked between so many 10s. I can't get to them. Elite Squadron Stormtrooper, 4 8s, no 10s and 9s. That's interesting because that seems like such a whatever foil, but those have
People do love their Stormtrooper looking cards, and that definitely, shiny Stormtrooper. Not too many of those.
Shaggy, I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, 3PO, no 10s, 1 9, 1 8, only 2 submitted, but the foil is 22 submitted, 3 10s.
There we go, the golden god.
Oh, we got the show off here. Let's go.
Old slab.
The 10, old school 10. So there's 1 of 3 right there. Super cool. Super cool. Yeah. Biker Scout foil or Biker Scout Trooper foil. no 10s, no 9s, 1 8, 1 7, 1 6. Yeah, so this is interesting, like seeing the volume of foils. It seems like pretty much people are just submitting the foils. Maybe somebody's going for a set here by like submitting Walkling and Wicket, you know, like super random.
It's an expensive card to be, I mean, it's a player's card basically because of the virtual one. I think it just does like, it's like a Swiss Army knife, if I remember right. It does like a whole bunch of stuff, but that's interesting.
And is that correct that there's only 37 cards from Endor that have been submitted?
No, 210 cards.
But 37 unique cards.
Where did you see that stat? If you get to the bottom
left, when you're like going to change.
Okay.
Yeah, 37.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So out of that set, I don't know how big the set is. What does it say? 180 cards. So yeah, haven't really scratched the surface on that one.
Yeah, plus
one main taking point looking at that data is it's time to find a Wicket 10, because when you think Endor from a movie, you think Ewoks and you think Wicket, and that's definitely an iconic card that we need to find a 10 of. So,
so yeah, but I think for those who are going to compete like in Endor, like it's going to be a limited, you know, group of people, because I don't think many people have loose Endor packs, like a lot of them to rip, like they do with Jabba's Palace, Premier, Cloud City, even Dagobah. Plenty of those to rip. Special edition is a decent amount, but
that's just going to make the quest even more enticing.
I feel like more people would be like, do I spend the money on Endor or to just buy Death Star 2? You know, they'd be like, I'd rather have Death Star 2 cards, you know.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Those ultra rares seem to be a little bit more of a chase so far than the foils in Endor.
But the dark side foils will be interesting to follow, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I like them all. I mean, there's only 18 of them, and unlike some of the other sets, like you're looking at Chewie, Leia, Han, and 3PO. Like four of the 9 in the light side are huge characters. And I think it's appealing from that standpoint. Now within it, there is the very rare foil, super rare, ultra rare component, and it's general solos, ultra rare. Help me out, Mark.
And 3PO. Those are the 2 ultra rares, and then Chewie and Leia are the super rares, or the equivalent, whatever they call them.
Right. Yeah, so there's that whole dynamic to it. But to Kyle's point, I think Death Star 2 is winning the battle, because not only are the ultra rares Palp, Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, 2 of the most iconic cards in the game. They're like 2 of the best playable cards, at least for a long period of time. So they're desirable for players and collectors alike.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, do I want to grade an Ewok or do I want to grade like a capital class starship? You know, like, yeah, that's kind of more badass. Like, you know, like versus like a little stuffed teddy bear or some super destruction.
No.
You know,
don't bash on Ewoks too hard.
No, we got to face the facts here. I mean, as a hardcore collector, getting the dark side foils in high grades is definitely like a peak achievement. However, I don't know from a broad standpoint if many people are going to care enough or even be able to jump into that. I think they're going to rather go the direction of Death Star 2 and Reflections foils and go through that, because one, it'll be more accessible. It'll still be really competitive, but there's going to be plenty of that product around. I rarely see Endor packs ripped in videos these days. I mean, I'm trying to think how many I have. Not many. I really don't have many, and I have a lot of stacks of boosters, but I don't know if I'll rip any on the channel. I think I'd rather.
Can you share my screen real quick since we're talking about Ewoks?
You want this screen?
Here we go. No, this one right here. I just discovered a new type of card since we're talking about it, and I had no idea this existed, but I think I sent it to Mark. In the year 2013, we thought it was a good idea to make Ewok for rookie patch cards.
Look how expensive they are.
For those hardcore Ewok collectors out there, once you get the Wicket 10, this is where you need to go.
You can get actual Ewok skin. An added
Wicked is 349, but BIN.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, some of the relic stuff can be cool, but that's like a whole nother ball game and generally a more expensive ordeal to go through all that. But, well, any final thoughts on? I mean, I know we discussed Special Edition and Endor, but before we wrap up here, we're going to jump in on the next time we do all this. We'll step into the Death Star 2 world, and I think either Reflections or Tatooine. We'll probably Reflections. We'll probably jump into that. A lot to talk about there. So that's going to be a hot topic. We want to make sure we dedicate the time to that, since that's probably the most competitive graded category, I think, right now. I will say I did start a registry set.
Cameron, where is your...
Oh, he ordering a pizza or something. I did see. I don't know if you guys have started registry sets, but I did start one. I've been watching every single day for PSA to add more, because I know JP had added the entire like Star Wars CCG library, and they're just going to go down the list and start adding complete sets. So they have, if you haven't checked already, Ref 1, Ref 2, Ref 3 is all out there. Plus, they have the category of Star Wars top 10 main characters. You can submit any card from any set as long as it's one of those characters. I did jump into that, but there's some characters that don't exist in the CCG world. But if you have some slabs and you want to show them off, you can jump into that registry. There are people that I think have like half the Reflections set in there. I've seen people pop in there. It's not many, but I encourage you to jump in there if you got some for PC. It could be a really fun way to show off stuff and get competitive juices flowing. So
I'm coming. I've been procrastinating on that one, but I'm glad you and JP are pushing it. It's definitely up my alley, and I'll be joining soon.
Agreed. Same on my part. Love you guys. You guys are amazing and an asset to the community.
Are you going to jump into any registries, Mark?
I might. It's kind of, I got it split in a couple of places, so I just need to get myself organized and get situated and get it in there. But no, it's been a nice move on the part of the group, the top of the Facebook group in general, getting that rolling. So
for sure,
get in on that.
Yeah, especially with the idea of other PSA collectors will see these sets pop up and be like, what is this? And then they're going to jump in there and be like, oh, this is actually kind of competitive. And, you know, adding that kind of energy in there will get people curious and we'll be able to show them off just how cool they are. So
yeah. Anyways,
this has been awesome, guys. We will wrap it up here, but yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, I love these videos. I love how it's been educational. Thanks for having us. Keep doing good work. Keep learning about the intricacies of each set. They're each different, and they each have their different grading nuances.
No, it's been real. It's nice giving love to, like you said, Special Edition and Endor, because in some ways they're kind of overlooked in some of the slightly later sets like Death Star 2 and Reflections. So I'm glad that we were able to go over them and give them some love.
So we will touch on those in the next video. Thanks all.